What do all these digital devices have in common? Hey guys, hey, welcome to the Analog Life. So this episode is actually a continuation of my previous episode where I spoke about analog devices and my love for analog devices. And in that video, I gave a whole bunch of reasons why I thought that analog devices were so awesome. If you haven't checked out that video, check it out. It will appear right on that link right there. Add it to your playlist and check it out. For this episode, I wanted to shift my focus onto digital technologies and some of the gripes that I have had with the digital revolution, really. What these devices have in common is that these devices physically should work perfectly, but just by software or by services that are linked to these devices, they have been disabled to a point where the use that you can get out of these devices are pretty much either non-existent or significantly reduced. These three BlackBerry Playbook tablets that I have, and the original iPad, which I spoke about in my previous video. The Gear VR here, which is a pretty innovative VR device when it came out, you know, and that's not too long ago, guys. And then also I have the iPad mini, the original version here. Now one could argue that, hey, you could still get some services out of these, especially the tablets. You know, I could still use my BlackBerry Playbook tablets to listen to music and to play some really old games which were installed prior to the paid apps in the App Store being disabled by BlackBerry. So now you cannot get those apps anymore. But the point is, that's not what I paid for. That's not what I bought these tablets for. And considering that these tablets are only like 5 to 10 years old, the fact that I can purchase all these devices thinking that I was going to have full benefit out of these devices, and then a few years down the line, these devices are basically gimped to the point that they don't work as well. That really bothers me. And for contrast, I would like for you to contrast it with the devices that you see behind me there. That's an analog device, which is the reel-to-reel tape recorder behind me there. And this device is at least 50 years old, right? Just think about it. That's a 50-year-old device, and I have ones that are actually much older. And this device here works just as good as when it was manufactured. I have actually spruced it up and it works really well. I do not need any software to get this device to work. I do not need any upgrades. I do not need the internet to get this to work. So this device, even so many decades later, still works just as well as when it was made. As long as you maintain it well, it works just as well. The point I'm trying to make is that there's no reason why digital devices which are in physically good shape should have to be gimped to the point where they do not provide you with the same services just a few years after they were launched. That is ridiculous, considering the fact that, look, these are just a few of my devices. If you multiply it by so many millions of people all over the world, think about the waste. I mean, what am I supposed to do with this now, guys? What am I supposed to do with this now that this has been discontinued? And I pretty much used this maybe like twice before it was discontinued, guys. And this was launched to much fanfare. And now this device is what am I supposed to do with this? You know, this goes to the landfill, or is this a keepsake? Is it now just a door stopper now? That is exactly the concern that I have regarding the digital revolution. It's the fact that the digital revolution is driven by a level of consumerism which is not sustainable. It is not environmentally friendly, nor is it sustainable. Look at all these devices which cannot really be recycled, which will end up somewhere as electronic waste. And the fact that so much resources went into this, and now these have to be discarded. Whereas with an analog device like that, I get to enjoy this for many generations, and I get to pass it on to my children. And I'm gonna ask you guys, in your opinion, what do you think is more environmentally friendly? I mean, this device here probably uses more energy to play music than the tablet. But in the long scheme of things, this one is far more environmentally friendly than those tablets that I just showed you, because those tablets are going to end up in the landfill much sooner than this device right here. The digital revolution is really not that environmentally friendly for the most part. And I want to bring your attention to the next thing which I want to talk about. I'm sure some of you have heard of NFT, which is non-fungible tokens. The word fungible basically means transferable. And non-fungible tokens are basically this whole concept that they use blockchain, which is a set of really complex mathematical equations to protect something. And it's usually used in cryptocurrency, like bitcoins. You know of bitcoins. And the blockchain is what is used to now protect these digital assets, which they call NFTs, or non-fungible tokens. And the whole idea is that if I, for example, as a photographer, I can take a picture and protect the image with blockchain. It's a very unique system that attributes that asset to me. And no one else can own it because I have that blockchain, the key to that blockchain, to that particular thing. And recently, if you've been paying attention, there was actually a JPEG image, guys. A JPEG image, which I'm going to display right here, which sold for over $60 million. Over $60 million. The company that bought this image, this JPEG image, is now selling pieces of that ownership to that JPEG image to people as what, I guess, stocks? This whole thing is ridiculous. And the reason why this is ridiculous is that how do you sell a JPEG image for that much? And that's another issue with this whole digital revolution. It's going nuts. The fact that you don't own the physical thing, you just own something that exists in zeros and ones. I mean, a JPEG image, and they're protecting it with blockchain. It just feels like a pyramid scheme to me, you know? However, I can see the value in using blockchain to protect digital works of art or even photography and things like that. But I think that evaluation is a bit nuts. And I cannot talk about blockchains and cryptocurrency without actually mentioning the fact that these cryptocurrencies take so much energy just to be able to mine bitcoins. I'm gonna put this article right here, which mentions that it takes the energy usage of a couple countries to actually mine Bitcoin, which is ridiculous. These computers have expensive cooling systems. They drain a lot of energy, and they're just used to mine for something which does not exist. So is this really the future that we want? Is this really sustainable? So you may ask me, what can I do? What can I do about this situation that we find ourselves in? I mean, the digital revolution has been great, but what has not been great is certainly how consumerism has taken over, how capitalism has taken over, and it seems to me like we're just in a race to the bottom here. What you can do is, number one, reuse. Recycle if you can, and try and conserve what you have. invest in things that have a lifespan of more than 10 years. Invest more in analog devices. Put in some more effort to salvage things rather than just throw things away. If your vehicle is not fully broken, or even if it's broken, fix it rather than take it to the salvage lot and to get a new vehicle. Keep your old vehicles, try and fix them, make them run. You know, why not? If it works, what's the point in getting a new one? And that's my concept. That's what I live by. I have 2 old vehicles. They break, I fix them. It's not because I can't afford a new vehicle or new vehicles. I just don't see the point, you know? So I fix them and I drive them, and they drive pretty well. So I think that should be our attitude going forward with everything that we're investing our time and our resources into. Think conservation and think long term. I hope that you found what I shared with you interesting. If you did, why don't you hit the like button on this video, and by all means share this video. And if you've not subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe. Thanks so much guys for joining me, and until the next time, take care and have a great day.